Alright, what's going on, guys? The gaming industry is experiencing new heights that are unparalleled for nearly any kind of entertainment medium. And as new technology emerges, and new faces try to stand on top of the shoulders of the giants that came before, one of the largest pillars of the industry appears to be being left behind, making very uncertain business decisions, and forcing many people to ask the question, what is happening to Xbox? It seems like almost every day we're getting new articles coming out, new polls and numbers indicating a falling off of Xbox, and basic things that leave you scratching your head, thinking how can a company this big make some silly mistake like this? So today I want to go through a lot of stories and events that have happened recently, and examine the overall atmosphere around the company to try to figure out what's going on with them, why they're falling so far behind their immediate competitors, and answer the question of, is Xbox a dying company? Because in all honesty, it's not looking very good. Let's start by looking at some of the sales numbers over the past year, because I think this paints the picture more than anything. Here we can see the sales across the last 4 years, comparing the PS5, both new Xboxes, and the Switch. We can see a fairly large disparity in 2021, with the PS5 selling 1,242,000 consoles, with Xbox as a brand only selling 759,000. That's 2 Xbox consoles versus 1 PlayStation console. However, in the year 2022, we can see Xbox take the lead with 1,305,000 against PlayStation's 910,000. But then something crazy has happened this year, with PlayStation selling over 1 million more consoles than Xbox. Now before I break this down, let me go ahead and clear the bias. I've been an Xbox player my whole life. I started on an Xbox 360 and continued on the Xbox One, but now I have a PlayStation 5, which is the first Sony console I ever owned. Now I don't own an Xbox Series X, but I do pay for Game Pass to get the Xbox games on PC, of which I play with an Xbox controller. So I really don't have a preference of one console over the other. I prefer the Xbox controller and UI over PlayStation's, but at the same time there's a lot of PlayStation exclusive games that I love. The only reason I don't own an Xbox Series X is because, like I said, Game Pass is on PC, and there are no games exclusive to the Series X to justify that purchase. So while I personally don't have a dog in the fight either way, I think my experience here is also a telling sign. But let's look at even more numbers. As shown by Zuby Tech here, Game Pass / Xbox Live Gold revenue is down 12%. Xbox consoles and controller hardware revenue is down 13%. Overall, Xbox Division revenue is also down 13%. The FTC is seeking to block the ABK deal, which we'll discuss more in a minute. And it has been 435 days since the last major first-party exclusive game release for Xbox. That is staggering. And of course, this all comes after Xbox was a no-show at the Game Awards, which was a historic platform to advertise games, with over 103 million people watching. Now, the reason they claimed that they didn't have any showcases there was due to the ongoing battle with the ABK deal, but you really have to ask, was it worth it to miss out on this incredible opportunity? Especially after PlayStation released God of War Ragnarok, which also took the world by storm. So you'd think that given they skipped out on advertising at the biggest platform of the year, then surely this caused them to have some success with the ABK deal, but that's where you'd be wrong. For those of you that are unaware, Microsoft is attempting to acquire Activision Blizzard and get special privileges with games like Call of Duty, but this deal has been under fire ever since it was conceptualized, with Microsoft receiving extreme pushback from both the Federal Trade Commission and Sony themselves. And here you can see how that battle's still taking place at the highest level.
In light of that, I find it curious that the FTC is taking action to protect Sony, which has 68% of the global market for high-end video gaming consoles, from competition attempted to block Microsoft's proposal or their proposed acquisition of Activision Blizzard King. As you know, Sony's been the most vocal opponent of that deal, and remarkably, the FTC has sided with Sony. Can you explain why that seems to be a good idea?
This case also has been voted out and is in administrative proceedings, so I'll let the complaint speak for itself. I will say, as a general matter, we always really benefit from hearing market participants across the board, including big players, but at the end of the day, we always make our own independent judgments based on the law and the facts.
So to kind of break that down a little bit, it's clear that the FTC is not happy whatsoever about Microsoft's attempted acquisition of Activision in an almost unfair way. And since this is pretty much the big gamble of Microsoft, that is a very, very bad thing for Xbox. Now, there has been one victory for Xbox over the past year, and that of course was Microsoft acquiring Bethesda, the developers of the Elder Scrolls and Fallout series. But the problem is their next big hitter is Starfield, which isn't going to be releasing until September and has already undergone several delays and shaky development problems. And another issue is that Starfield is going to be seeing a PC release as well. So while that is going to be a Game Pass exclusive, it's not going to save the Xbox console. And the fact of the matter as it stands right now is that there is no Xbox game that's carrying the console. We're seeing banger after banger from PlayStation, games that can only be played on the PlayStation, and the console sales numbers are reflecting that clearly. And Nintendo as well continues to break record after record with their exclusive titles. So it brings us to the news that's come out today. No Xbox begins trending on Twitter as another game skips the platform at launch. And that game in question was Oxenfree 2, a game that's coming to quite literally everything, even Netflix, but not Xbox consoles. And it was especially reinforced after a new Final Fantasy game also was not coming to Xbox, and that's among many others doing the same. And to add insult to injury here, Redfall, one of Xbox's only exclusive games, has been announced to be capped at 30 FPS, which is quite honestly unacceptable for a game coming out in this time. And for that to be one of their only cards left to play, that's not good. So let me kind of consolidate everything we talked about and paint the full picture now that we have all of the context. Xbox is not doing good at all. While Sony and Nintendo are upping their portfolio, delivering what people want from the company, which is great games, Xbox is simply not competing. They appear to have all their eggs in one basket with this Activision deal that is quite simply going nowhere at the moment, held in a stalemate by the FTC and continuously generating bad press for Xbox as a whole. Even if it succeeds, I don't think it's going to be the ace they're looking for. They've already had to make it very clear that if the deal does go through, then Call of Duty won't be an Xbox exclusive. But let's take it hypothetically anyways, if Call of Duty were to be an Xbox exclusive, that series isn't doing too hot either. While I do think it would provide a decent bump to Xbox sales, I don't think it would be enough to take it up to par with the wild success that PlayStation has had, simply because there are much more other games exclusive to PlayStation that people want to play, and Xbox just does not have other games like that to keep it afloat. Now there are some Xbox games I'm really looking forward to, like Avowed, but we have no idea when that game's going to be coming, and other Xbox titles that are on the horizon don't quite have very clear roadmaps either. But I say all this in this video as an Xbox fan, like I said, and as someone who very much enjoys Game Pass. I was rooting for Xbox in the beginning. I thought Halo Infinite had the chance to bring the console back to the top where it used to be in the 360 days, and I did very much enjoy that game when it came out, but it was marketed as a live service game, released without many of the franchise defining features, and they ultimately took way too long to get that game in the state where it needed to be. And that's really the crux of all of it. What we're seeing with Xbox right now is a series of missed opportunities after missed opportunities, and while I don't think the console is dead in the water yet, and they could potentially make a comeback, the path they're treading right now is leading to failure, and I only hope they can do something to steer it back on course. But anyways guys, that's gonna pretty much do it for the video today. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, be sure to leave a like on it and let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. Do you think Xbox is going to die, or do you think they're gonna make a major comeback? Either way though, if you're new around here, be sure to hit that subscribe button, and I will catch you in the next one.